Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to another very 80s related video here as I revisited a film which is just so much fun. A ridiculous 80s explosion of fun with bright colors and 80s Southern California Valley Girl style stereotypes in Earth Girls Are Easy from 1988, which stars Jeff Goldblum, Geena Davis, Julie Brown, Jim Carrey, and Damon Wayans. Quite the stacked cast there. But what is this about? Well, the synopsis is as follows. A Southern California girl befriends 3 furry aliens after their spaceship lands in her swimming pool. Furry, brightly colored aliens, like out of a cartoon kind of bright, and very silly nonsense alien speak, which has to be subtitled for, the beginning of the film. But anyways, before we dive into them a little bit more on this one, let's just say Geena Davis's character is engaged and her fiance is not only a bit inattentive, but is downright sleazy. His eyes and hands wandering, let's say. These aliens kind of crash land in her swimming pool, and as an interesting take on that, the ship is actually kind of small and that it can fit into that swimming pool, so they kind of scale up to our size when they leave, and then they scale down to fit back into that ship. So Geena Davis's character comes across this and is kind of dealing with the situation. They, of course, shave these aliens, as one would do in those situations, and have a nice little fashion montage, as was popular in the 80s. So that way they can kind of blend in, and they start to learn a little bit about the language, while deciding to also go out onto town, drive around, hit up a nightclub or two, and so on. So meanwhile, her fiance kind of catches on to this situation, and they need to kind of construct a big lie and explanation to kind of keep the aliens safe and under control while they are working on their ship. So of course, during this time, a love story is starting to brew between Geena Davis's character and Jeff Goldblum. So along with that, of course, we're getting this nice alien fish out of water kind of story thrown into this 80s Valley Girl style comedy. And comedy, through and through. This is really crazy stuff. They even throw in some musical numbers for some songs performed by Julie Brown. Really mixes things up, makes it a lot of fun. I think what I also really love about this film is how well it captures that whole 80s comedy vibe, such as a really bright color palette that they would force into the films, and the overall comedy style and just how outrageous it can get. There could be dance-offs and montages and fashion stuff. They just really have a lot of fun with it. And much of this is helped immensely by Julie Brown, who has a history in comedy, as well as Damon Wayans and Jim Carrey, who had a heavy background in comedy at the time as well, but of course since then had become much bigger stars than the roles that they had in this film, which were kind of like, not the main alien character, just 2 of the 3. But anyways, throwing in seeing some of the early work of Geena Davis and Jeff Goldblum together, and the small role of Michael McKean, and this film was a real treat. One of those films to put on anytime you want to just kind of watch something really silly and fun, full of 80s style that's really bright and just smacks you in the face. Now, I remember when this one was coming out back in the day, and I ended up needing to wait until cable or VHS to check it out. But it's one of those that I was kind of anxiously waiting when I missed it in the theater. And every now and then it comes up in conversation, but overall I don't really hear that much talk about this one these days. It just kind of comes and goes. But this one came to mind recently when I was at Viper Video. I was picking up an order and happened to see a used Blu-ray of this sitting on the counter. And I went ahead and snagged it along with this big order that I had before they even had a chance to put it out on the shelf. So it became a part of that huge stack of new films to go through, which I'm still working on now. And after watching it the weekend before last, I was really loving just seeing this bright and clear in Blu-ray. It really made all those colors pop, and this one was a lot of fun and definitely worth checking out. And speaking of checking out, thanks for checking out this latest little video here, little 80s throwback video for Earth Girls Are Easy from 1988, starring Geena Davis, Jeff Goldblum, Julie Brown, Jim Carrey, and Damon Wayans, which at the time of this video is of course available on disc, but it's also available on a lot of other services such as Canopy, YouTube, Roku, Plex, Freevee, and Tubi. So there are, some free ones out there, some ad-supported ones out there, as well as being able to get this one on paid rental if you want to without any ads. Anyways, so if this 80s throwback sounds interesting to you, head on over to one of those services, and thanks again for checking out my video here. And sticking around to the end, as it really does help out quite a bit. Be sure to like and subscribe, as I'm closing in on that 500 subscribers by the end of April goal. I'm getting really close, so be sure to share this video as well. Thanks for coming by, and I will see you in the next one.